Welcome back to Viewpoint. Tonight we're looking at occupational cancer caused by exposure to carcinogens in the workplace, agents that cause the development or increase the incidence of cancer.
We felt we had to do the seminar. The seminars are, I think, terribly important because they highlight the health and safety issues, and throughout the rest of the year people tend to forget, and it's always important to bring the topic up of health and safety as a whole. But because IOSH was running this campaign, No Time to Lose, we thought it was the right thing to do, and the unions were very keen on this as well. And to be perfectly honest, I think it's been extremely useful because it's something that we hadn't really thought about and something that we haven't really tried to implement in the past.
The message I got over yesterday, I was really pleased because without doubt everybody came up and said the lessons I explained, the message that I gave, it enabled them to understand, and they begin to understand why it's important that they become involved. Because it's not just peer pressure, it's not just managers doing the right things. I don't believe the majority of people want to hurt other people. The majority of people are decent human beings. They don't want to hurt themselves, they don't want to hurt others. And it's not, when we talk of hurting others, it's not just people they hurt in the workplace. Because when they suffer because of something that they've done wrong that they shouldn't have done, it's their loved ones that suffer as well. Because it's their loved ones that have to look after them, have to help them, have to help rehabilitate them and possibly cope into later life. Well, nobody wants to inflict that on anybody at all. And as I say, I've got this huge belief in that the majority of human beings are decent, kind human beings. Well, decent, kind human beings don't want to go around hurting other people.
Well, I want people to realise that we mustn't underestimate the amount of skin cancer that we do have here in Gibraltar and the uniqueness of the place that we live. In UK, the 2010 cancer research estimates are that there is the fifth most common cancer is a malignant melanoma. So I then went and looked at statistics so that we could look at Gibraltar and looking at the population from last year. The population was 29,000. Just over 29,184. So for any numbers to equate to us and for us to be able to put it into basics, I did some calculations, and those calculations showed that 1 in 55 men and 1 in 55 women will get a melanoma in a lifetime. Then on top of that, if we work it to Gibraltar's numbers, that equates to 530 men and 523 women developing a melanoma. And Cancer Research UK 2013 then estimates that by 2030 that will be a fifth larger. So if we look at that, that gives us another 210 people that would get a malignant melanoma. But that's not where we stop. That's the one that most people are frightened to hear, but it's not the only cancer you can get. You can get basal cell carcinoma or a squamous cell carcinoma, which is the same as what Wendy Clouter got. So looking at those numbers, you've got an 18% higher chance of getting one of these type of cancers. So you equate that into numbers. Now we're looking at 1,569 women and 1,590 men and 1,569 women. But then you add on top of that, 46% of those will reoccur within 5 years. So now our numbers are increasing further. So our calculation now for Gibraltar stands at 5,592 people in a lifetime will get one type of skin cancer with the chance of it raising. But there was also some research that Dr. Jose Ferreira did looking at malignant melanomas and skin cancers in the Nordic countries. And because of our unique genetic input with migration and intermarriage, those statistics can't be estimated into it, so the number's even higher than that. And it's important that people understand that we have a very high chance of getting a type of skin cancer, so we need to try and avoid it.
I suppose the background to this is that for many years a lot of people in Gibraltar have enjoyed getting a tan because it's been perceived to be an attractive feature without necessarily understanding the risks that that entails.
The very fact that you have a tan and you get a tan means that you're already damaging your skin. Your skin is already damaged. So a tan looks cool, but is not cool, and it's more risk to your your body, and you are more prone to having cancer of the skin or developing some form of melanoma or skin condition. So a tan is not a safe thing. But like I said, I mean, clinically, and the dermatology team works very, very strongly and very closely with this aspect of health, and so they obviously provide all the information you need. And we also have a regular skin cancer awareness day now for the last 2 years, and that's been very, very successful. So the urge is to just educate the public and raise awareness across the board.
So is there no such thing as a healthy tan then?
I wouldn't say there's a healthy tan. A tan is not healthy. A tan is a sign of skin damage.
Checking your skin is the final sun safety measure. The earlier the detection and diagnosis, the more effectively skin cancer can be treated. The best way to detect skin cancer is to spend a couple of minutes checking your skin at least once a month. Check your head, face, neck and chest right down to your hips. Look in a mirror, or get someone else to check the areas you can't easily see, such as the back of your head, ears and back. Next, check your arms, elbows, including your underarms and both sides of your hands. When checking your body, you're looking for any marks on the skin that appear to be growing, bleeding or changing appearance in any way. A spot or sore that does not heal within 4 weeks. A spot, mole or sore that itches, hurts, scabs, crusts or bleeds for more than 4 weeks. Areas of skin that become sore or an ulcer forms for no apparent reason. And again, it doesn't heal up within 4 weeks.
There are special kits. Everybody here seems to think that they look stupid and why is that little kid in it? But it is the best protection, is to be covered up.
It's like a UV swimsuit.
Yeah, UV swimsuits. And also be careful because some clothing, even though it's long sleeve, will still allow through. So you've got to look at the type of clothing you're wearing, the fit that you have, to make sure if there is, like on my top here, I would definitely need to have sun cream here.
And so you said 50 years. I mean, that's a slightly depressing thought to think that for 50 years we're going to be exposing ourselves to risks that we could prevent or we could take in a lesser form.
The issue is that you can't change the damage that's already happened. We can slow it down, we can treat it, early detection being very, very important. But at the same time, if we educate the other generations that are coming up, then they won't get that amount of damage happening. And our philosophy in dermatology is, if you're in doubt, get it checked out, and if we're in doubt, we'll take it out.
Where it is not possible for everybody to work away from direct sunlight or provide shade, thought should be given to the rotation of workers so that as little time as possible is spent working in direct sunlight. When it's hot and you're doing lots of manual work, probably the last thing you would think to wear would be lots of clothes. However, in Australia, parts of the USA and other countries where the weather is far hotter and sunnier than the UK, it's very common for workers to wear long-sleeve tops and long trousers when working outside. The clothing is designed for working outdoors, and whilst harder to find, it is available in the UK. Such clothing is designed to be both comfortable when working outdoors and to offer protection by being quick drying, soaks up sweat so you don't feel wet, high wicking, moves sweat, moisture away from your skin quickly, UV protecting. The material will have been tested and therefore has a UV protection rating or UPF. Look for a UPF of at least 30 plus.
Construction, Gibraltar's experienced a boom in recent years. Is that an area where it is sometimes difficult to get health and safety messages across?
It can be, especially with the attitude of construction and especially with this macho image of the construction worker. I'm going to take my shirt off, I'm going to get a suntan, I'm going to have big muscles and everything else. Yeah, it used to be acceptable, but nowadays we know that in Gibraltar, exposure to the sun is going to cause cancer. Covering them up. A lot of companies are making a lot of efforts now to get their workers to cover up properly and to put measures in place to help protect the workers. And I think the one good thing about Gibraltar is that they've had a big expansion in construction. During these 4 years, they haven't had a worker killed. Now, is that because we're getting the health and safety message across properly? Is it because employers are starting to care and starting to plan work so that it reduces the risk of accidents? Or is it that they've been lucky? Well, I think there is a bit of luck in it, but I think it's more to do with employers' care, and employers are now starting to plan the work properly. The workers are starting to listen to the message because they're beginning to see the advantages of having a safe work site. And it was really encouraging to hear the government minister yesterday talking about investing in Gibraltar. Because while we're investing in Gibraltar, we're investing in educating the workforce. In educating the workforce, we're actually investing in educating Gibraltar as well. And I think that's helping Gibraltar immensely.
I think we've gone a long way. I think that, for example, now you go to any reputable building site with a reputable company and you will find that everybody is wearing the correct personal protective equipment, hats, the safety boots, the fluorescent vest. Some years ago, that certainly wasn't the case. You went into a building site and health and safety was very poor. The whole concept of health and safety was very poor. We've gone a long way. I think what we need to do is really develop the factory inspectorate. For years there's been a deficiency there, and for years we have been told, oh, we need to do something about the inspectorate, and that is an area that really needs to be looked into and have an inspectorate that is working properly resourced with the inspectors properly qualified to the right standard. This is something that we have to work on and develop.
And are you hopeful that the government might do so, or not just the GSLP Liberals, but we've got an election coming up, the GSD, whoever gets into power for the next 4 years, do you think that's something that they'll look at?
Well, hopefully, I'm always hopeful. Whether it will happen or not, I'm not sure. Governments keep saying that they're going to do something about it and sort it once and for all. But it hasn't happened yet. We can go back many years, and different governments have been saying this, and it hasn't happened. Hopefully, yes, I'm hopeful that perhaps sooner rather than later it might happen.